Yes, very good morning, Ma. Welcome to All for Online Education, Commerce Theory part for the first year's English medium, and the chapter that we are dealing with, that is the 7th chapter, Commencement of Business. So what's the meaning of commencement of business? See, commencement of business means in order to start the business, okay? In order to start the business, what are the legal formalities required and what are the legal formalities should have to be fulfilled by the management in order to get their business registered with Indian Registration, Companies Registration Act 2013. So for that they should have to prepare some of the documents and they have to submit those documents to the registrar of the company. So in everyday sessions from today onwards, we are going to discuss about everything what is necessary to start a business. There will be three things are very important in order to start the business. The registrar will ask that. One is memorandum of association, next is article of association, and the last one is prospectus. So in this session we are going to study about what is memorandum of association. Okay, so memorandum of association can also be abbreviated as MOA, memorandum of association. So it is a constitution and character of the company. It is a constitution. Okay, how we have constitution for our country, in the same way it is the constitution and character of the company. Okay, it provides the foundation on which the company structure is built. It is the foundation. Okay, it is just like a basement. Okay, when we want to build the house, the foundation should be the strong. We use the pillars. Yes, so for these in business we can't stand the pillars ni lepi chupiyalem kada register mundala. So that's why we use the clauses. Clauses are the pillars. Okay, based on these clauses the foundation of the business will be stand. Okay, it acts as an indicator or guidelines for the investors who are interested and are planning to invest in the company. The investors who are ready to invest in the particular company, for them it just help like a guidance, and it also helps as an indicator. It indicates what that company and what is that company status and what the foundation for that company, whether that company, investing in that company bring profits or it will bring the losses. So there will be clear guidelines for the investors. It defines the scope of the company. Means scope means the circumstance. Okay, it defines the circumstance, paridhi. Okay, up to what the business can do its activities. It shows the circumstance. Okay, company's activities as well as relations with the outside world. It will show the circumstance of the company, how it has relationship, how much freedom it has to make the relationship with the outsiders, how much freedom the company has to expand the business in some other countries. That completely defined in the memorandum of association. So that's why it is a scope of the company and it is the foundation of the company and it is the character of the company. So it is the most important thing. Okay, it is the most important thing in the business. It is the most important thing in the business. So in order to start the business, this thing is just like a foundation. How the building required the foundation, in the same way these also required the foundation. Company also required the foundation. Okay, next, this is the definition. Okay, this is the definition of a memorandum of association. Memorandum of association is one of the document. Okay, it is one of the documents which have to be filed. Okay, these document has to be filed with the registrar of the companies. Okay, these document has to be submitted. Okay, filed means submitting to register of the company at the time of incorporation, means while the time of starting the business, while the time of starting the company, while the time of incorporation of the company, means at the time of starting of the company, at the time of starting of the company, at the time it will be necessary to submit the document to the register of the company. Yes, they have to fill the clauses, whatever the clauses are there, they have to fill the clauses with the register of the companies. So this is definition is according to the Indian Companies Act 2013, section 2, subsection 56. Once again, section 2, subsection 56. Okay, according to this definition is given. Next, let us move on to the clauses of memorandum of association. Totally we have 6 clauses. In that the first clause is name clause, section 4, subsection 1a. Okay, section 4, subsection 1a. So a company being a separate legal entity, a company is a separate legal entity. What it is the meaning that the company is a separate legal entity? It means that the company is different and the owner is different. According to the, in your accounting, in the accounting concepts, you have the first concept, that only business entity concept. It states that owner is different and business is different. So here also the first clause, the name clause states that company being a separate legal entity must have a name. It should have a name. Okay, it is not a owner. Company means it is also a type of artificial person. So it also requires some name. A company may select any name. It can select any name it wants, but the name should not be objectionable under the provision of Emblems and Names Act 1950. So it should not have any objection under the provision of Emblems and Names Act 1915. Under that there should not be any objection. If you are keeping the name like some names like a king, queen, or the name of the some government MLAs, MPs, like this, you should not keep the name of the company. Your name of the company should be it should not be objectionable. Okay, it should not have any objection under the provision of Emblems and Names Act 1950. Okay, the word limited must be used. The word limited must be used at the end of the name of public company. If your company is a public company, then at the end of the company name you have to write limited. For example, your company name is XYZ company, then you have to give the name that XYZ Limited Company. It indicates that it is a public company. Okay, next, private company, private limited. In case of private company, you have to end the name of the company with private limited. So XYZ Private Limited Company. Okay, in case of public company, you have to write like this, XYZ Limited. In case of private company, XYZ Private Limited. So these should be at the end of the name of the company. So this is about the name class. Let us see the registered office or situation class. Okay, registered office or situation class, section 4, subsection 1b. Subsection 1b. These class state the place, address of the registered office of the company. So these class, what it indicates? It indicates the place. Okay, address of the registered office. Okay, the register office of the company, where it is located, in which state, in which district, in which mandal it is located, that should be mentioned in this class. Okay, ఆ పేరు ఆ అడ్రస్ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో దాన్ని ప్లేస్ అండ్ అడ్రస్ అనేది ఈ క్లాస్లో మెన్షన్ చేయాలి. కంపెనీ రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ ఆఫీస్ ఎక్కడుందో దాని డీటెయిల్స్ అనేవి ఈ క్లాస్లో సబ్మిట్ చేయాలి. This helps to have correspondency with the company if the place is not decided. If the place is not decided at the time of incorporation. Okay, while starting the company, if you have not decided the place of your registered office at that time, it can be intimated to the registrar. Okay, you can inform to the registrar. Intimated means you inform. You can inform to the registrar within 30 days. Within 30 days from the date of incorporation or commencement of business. Okay, within 30 days. Okay, within 30 days you can, within the 13 days from the date of incorporation or commencement. Incorporation or commencement both indicates the starting of the business. Okay, from within the 30 days from the date of incorporation or commencement, you have to submit, whichever is earlier, you have to submit that information regarding the place and address of your registered office to the registered office of the company to the registrar. Okay, you have to submit it. It is according to the Indian Company Act 2013. It is mandatory according to the Act. Next, objective clause section 4 subsection 1c. Okay, objectives clause. This clause contains two types of objectives. Okay, objects clause section 4 subsection 1c. So these clause contain two main objects. One is main objects, other objects. So these clause contains some of the objects, means objectives. These clause offers, okay, so these clause is the very important clause among the other clauses. As we know the business will be started with certain objectives, right? So let us see, these clause offers protection to the shareholders and creditors by ensuring that the fund are not going to be risked. So these clauses provide a protection to the shareholders and the creditors by telling that whatever you are going to invest, that is not in a risk. These clause will show a type of protection to the shareholders and the creditors. Who are the creditors? Company evariki baki untundo vallu creditors. Okay, shareholders ante వాటాదారులు. Okay, shares ni hold చేసేటోళ్ళు. Next class, liability class section 4 subsection 1d. Liability class. Okay, it states that the liability of the members is limited. Limited liability means if there is a loss in the company, the property of the members of the company will not be touched. Okay, personal property will not be touched. They will claim up to the capital what they have contributed. వాళ్ళు తెచ్చిన క్యాపిటల్ వరకు మాత్రమే లాస్ వస్తే క్లెయిమ్ చేసుకుంటారు, అంతేగాని దే నెవర్ గోయింగ్ టు టచ్ ద పర్సనల్ ప్రాపర్టీ ఆఫ్ ద మెంబర్స్ to the value of the shares held by them. Okay, it means that the members are liable to pay only the unpaid balance of the shares. So the members have to pay only the unpaid balance of the share. For example, the share value is 10,000 rupees. Okay, if the value of the share is 10,000 rupees, if they have paid only 8,000 rupees, then the member has to pay the remaining 2,000 rupees only. Up to that only they are liable. Their personal property is not going to touch in order to recover the loss, or in order to recover the 2000 rupees, his watch is not going to be taken, or his chain is not going to be taken, or his cell phone is not going to be taken by the company. Okay, so they will claim up to the loss whatever it have without touching the personal property. Capital clause section 4 subsection 1e. So the division of the capital into the total capital will be divided into equity preference shares and number. NO means number of shares in each category. So in case of equity shares, how many number of shares are there in equity share category? In case of preference share category, how many shares are there? And the value should be given, and the value of the each share should be given. Okay, the value of each share should be given. Association clause or subscription clause section 13 subsection 4c. Okay, according to the association clause or subscription clause. So these clause contains the name of the signators. Okay, signators means who do the signature of memorandum of association, who signed the memorandum of association, their full address and occupation of subscribers and witness are also given. So while signing the memorandum of association by the members of the company, their signatures, who are doing the signature, they will become the subscribers, and the witness, some of them have to give the witness sign is also necessary. The subscribers declared that they agree to incorporate the company and agree to take the shares against their names. So by signing the memorandum of association, these subscribers are very clear. They will clearly state that we are now the members of this company and we are ready to we are ready to receive the shares against our names. Against means in our names, on behalf of our names, we are going to purchase the shares of this company in order to start the company, for the incorporation of the company, for the need of the capital. We are agree and we are going to hold the shares of the company. So that is the 6th clause, association clause or subscription clause section 13 subsection 4c. Okay, these are the most important clauses of memorandum of association. All these clauses are filled with the register of the company by the company members. So this is very important question. So don't leave it, read it, practice it. Okay, this is very important question. Let us meet in the other session with the other topic, that is article of association. Okay, yeah. Good morning, ma. Welcome to Alpha Online Education. Commerce theory part for the first year's English medium. The chapter that we are dealing with, that is the 7th chapter, commencement of business, and this is the second session of the chapter. So in this session we are going to discuss about the article of association. Okay, article of association, it can also be abbreviated as AOA, article of association. So what is this? Let us see. The rules and regulations framed for the internal management of the company, which are set out in the document, is named as article of association. So the rules and regulations which are required for the internal management of the company, for the internal purpose of the company, for the internal purpose of the company, which are set out in a document, which are written in a document, and that document is named as article of association. So in the article of association, the rules and regulations of internal management of the company are clearly defined. What should the company have to be do and what the company should not have to be do. That is clearly stated in article of association. It also helps in achieving the objectives of specified in memorandum of association. So it will be help in achieving the objectives which are specified in memorandum of association. Whatever the objectives, whatever the clauses we have defined in the memorandum of association, in order to achieve that, the internal rules and regulations of the management is very important to achieve the objectives of memorandum of association. Let us move on to the definition of article of association. Article of association of a company as originally framed or as altered from time to time in pursuancy of any previous company law or these act, including so far as they apply to the company, the regulations contained as the cause may be in table A to schedule I of the act. So what they have given here, memorandum of association of a company as originally framed. If it is originally framed, the document, the internal rules and regulations of the company that are originally framed, or there can be change. Okay, there can be change from time to time according to the changes in the external environment. According to the changes in the external environment, the document article of association can be changed from time to time, okay, of any previous company's law, according to any previous company's law. Okay, previously we have Indian Companies Act 1956. Now it is changed to 2013. So in 1956 there are certain different rules, and in 2013 there are certain rules. At that time it is necessary to change the or to alter the document of article of association. So that's why he is saying that alter from time to time in pursuancy of any previous company law, means in the presence of any company, previous company law or these act, including so far as applied to the company. So in 1956 some other rules are applied to the company, but in 2013 some other rules are applied to the company. So they have to be continually changed. The regulations contained as the cause may be in table A to schedule 1 of the act. So this is according to the act, according to the Indian Company Act 2013, section 2 subsection 5, section 2 subsection 5. According to that there is certain schedules and table A to schedule I of the act. In that there will be certain types of regulations that have to be contained in the document of memorandum of association. Let us see some of the contents of article of association. What the article of association contains? Actually what it contains? It contains the 14 things. ఓకే, ఎగ్జామ్లో 14 ఉన్నాయని తగ్గించి రాయకండి. 14కి 14 రాయాల్సిందే, మ్యాండేటరీ. ఇంకొకటి, మెమొరండమ్ ఆఫ్ అసోసియేషన్లో క్లాసెస్ 6 ఉన్నాయి, నేను 5 రాస్తానంటే కుదరదు. 6కి 6 చదవాల్సిందే, ఇక్కడ 14కి 14 చదవాల్సిందే. ఓకే, యూ కాంట్ క్విట్ ఎనీథింగ్. See, the amount of share capital issued, okay, the amount of share capital issued, type of shares, number of shares, calls on shares, rights and privileges of different categories of shareholders must be mentioned in memorandum of association. So what he is saying, the amount of share capital, okay, for example the amount of share capital, For example, the amount of share capital, that is rupees 10 lakhs rupees. The amount of share capital is 10 lakhs rupees. That is required. Okay. Types of shares. So here we have two types of shares. One is equity share and another one is preference shares. Okay. Equity shares and preference shares. Shares are classified in two categories. Number of shares. How many equity shares you are issuing? Number of equity shares and number of preference shares. How many preference shares you are issuing? Okay. Call on shares. How much amount? Call on shares means it means that how much amount you are receiving from that shares. How much amount receiving from the shares. Amount receiving from the shares. Okay. And privileges of different categories of shareholders must be mentioned in article of association. So different types of shareholders are there. Who are holding the equity shares? They are called as equity shareholders. They are called as equity shareholders. They are called as equity shareholders. And who are holding the preference shares? They are called as preference shareholders. Preference shareholders. Again, these preference shareholders are classified into two categories: convertible preference shares, non-convertible preference shares. Okay. Convertible preference shares and non-convertible preference shares. Non-convertible preference shares. So this I will explain you in the next chapter. We have the different types of shares. There I will explain you in detail. Okay. Yes. Procedure for transfer or forfeiture of shares. So procedure for the transferring of shares and forfeitures means losing the share without any compensation. Okay. You are losing something without getting any compensation. That is known as forfeiture. Okay. So procedures. What are the procedures for transferring the shares and for forfeiting the shares? What are the procedures are there? That also mentioned in the article of association. Procedure for the issue of debentures and stocks. Okay. Not only the company will issue the shares, the company will issue debentures also. In order to raise the capital, the company will issue debentures and stock also. Okay. Debentures and stock also it will issue in order to raise the capital. In order to raise the capital from the stock market, it will issue debentures and stock. Powers to alter as well as reduce the share capital and its procedure for alternation. So alter means change. Okay. In order to make changes as well as reduce the share capital. The procedure for the reducing of the share capital, whatever the powers are there to reduce the share capital, and procedure for alternation. While making certain alternations in the rules, regulations or in any changes in the capital, there will be certain type of procedure. Then what will be that procedure? That have to be clearly mentioned in the article of association. The appointment of the directors, their power, duties and remuneration. Remuneration means salary. Okay. Remuneration means salary to the directors. Okay. The appointment of the directors. How many directors we are appointing? Okay. Whatever the powers the directors will be have and what the duties they have to perform and what is the salary given to those directors. The appointment of the managing directors. How many managing directors are appointing? Provisions regarding conducting the general meetings. How many general meetings should be conducted in a year? In 1 year, how many general meetings have to be conducted? Okay. And afterwards, special meetings. Special meetings means for special purpose, for taking certain types of decisions. For that purpose, they will conduct some special meetings. Voting proxies means in case any one member is not able to present for the voting, ఓకే, ఒకవేళ ఒక వ్యక్తి ఓటింగ్ జరిగే టైంకి రాలేకపోతే ప్రాక్సీస్ అంటే అతని రీప్రజెంటేటివ్, అతను కాకుండా అతని ఫ్యామిలీ మెంబర్ కావచ్చు లేదా అతని అడ్వకేట్ కావచ్చు, వాళ్ళు వచ్చి వాళ్ళు ఓటేసే రైట్ అవన్నీ దేంట్లో ఉంటాయంటే ఆర్టికల్ ఆఫ్ అసోసియేషన్, రిజల్యూషన్, ద closing of the business, that are completely resolutions that are completely mentioned in the article of association. Provisions related to the dividends and reserves. Reserves means if the company get the profit, okay, if the, wait a second, see, equity shareholders, preference shareholders, these both two shareholders receive the returns. షేర్స్ కొన్నందుకు వీళ్ళకు వచ్చే రిటర్న్స్ని ఏమంటామంటే, వీళ్ళకు మంత్లీ ఇచ్చే రిటర్న్స్ని ఏమంటామంటే డివిడెంట్ అంటాం. ఏమంటాం? డివిడెంట్ అంటాం. ఓకే, మంత్లీ వీళ్ళకి ఇచ్చే అమౌంట్ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో దాన్ని డివిడెంట్స్ అంటాం. మరి రిజర్వ్స్ అంటే ఏంటిది మేడం అంటే, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ యూ గాట్ ద ప్రాఫిట్ ఆఫ్ 90,000 రూపీస్ ప్రాఫిట్ వచ్చింది. సో దీంట్లో నుంచి డివిడెంట్స్ ఈక్విటీ షేర్ హోల్డర్స్, ప్రిఫరెన్స్ షేర్ హోల్డర్స్కి ఫస్ట్ ప్రిఫరెన్స్ షేర్ హోల్డర్స్కి డివిడెంట్ ఇవ్వాలి. ఆఫ్టర్ దట్ సెకండ్ ఈక్విటీ షేర్ హోల్డర్స్ విల్ టేక్ ద డివిడెంట్. If we are giving dividend of 45,000 rupees, then how much amount will be remain? More 45,000 rupees will be remain. In that, the company what they will do means they will take 20,000 as a reserve, means they will take this 20,000 as a savings. Okay, they use it as a saving. When the time is arises, when the need is arises, at that time they use these savings. Okay, at that time they will use these savings for the purpose of the development of the business. Okay, rules for preliminary contracts. Preliminary contracts means in order to making contract with the other parties, whatever the rules are required, that should be clearly mentioned. Provision regarding the common seal. Common seal means a round stamp will be there. A company is not a natural person. Yes, it is an artificial person. So it can't make the sign. Adi sign cheyaledu kabatti there is a common seal that is applied on the papers. Okay, whatever the company related documents are there, on that common seal will be placed. Preparation of accounts. The accounts have to be prepared and audit has to be done for those accounts. Audit means checking of accounts, and methods of appropriation of profit. And they have to whatever the methods they are going to use in order to appropriation means increase or maximization. Okay, in order to increase the profit, whatever the methods they are going to use, that also clearly mentioned. Next, maintenance of bank account. The company should have to maintain the bank account, and in which bank they have the account, the passbook details that should also be mentioned according to article of association. Procedure for the winding up of the company. While closing the company, winding up means closing or ending the company, what will be the legal procedure while winding the company? Other rules and regulations of the company are completely mentioned in the article of association. So this is about the article of association. So with the article of association, we can achieve the objectives of memorandum of association. Whereas memorandum is the character or foundation of the company, here the article of association, it indicates the rules and regulations of internal management of the company. Both are different. Okay, so in the next session we will go for the differences between article of association and memorandum of association. Good morning ma, welcome to Alpha Online Education. Commerce theory part for the first year's English medium, the chapter that we are dealing with, the first chapter, commencement of the business. This is the third session of the chapter. So in the previous session we have discussed about what is memorandum of association and what is article of association. So here we are going to discuss about the differences between the memorandum of association and article of association. Let us see first the scope. It is a constitution of the company. Yes, memorandum of association is a constitution of the company. Means within its framework, within its circumstance only, the company has to perform its performance. Okay. So the company work in the framework given in the memorandum. So the company can carry out its work within the framework what is mentioned in the memorandum. So it can't go beyond the memorandum of association. So what is article of association means? The article contains bylaws for the day-to-day working of the company as set out in the memorandum of association. So it is an for internal management purpose we required article of association. The article of association contains those things which are required for the day-to-day activities of the company. So it also includes the things which are in memorandum of association. Those things are implemented in the article of association. So article of association is set out in the memorandum of association. What are contained in the memorandum of association? Those things which have to be doing day-to-day activities that can be done with the help of article of association. Next need. Memorandum of association must be prepared by all the companies and filed with the registrar. Okay, so memorandum of association is a necessary that every company should have to prepare, and it should have to file that with the registrar of the company. Okay, next, article of association. The public company may not have their own articles. So for the private company they can keep their own articles, but the public company can't keep their own articles. So that's why they have to adopt the articles according to table A, schedule 1 as its articles. So whatever the articles are there in table A and schedule 1, those articles should have to be adopted by the article of association. So relationship, the next one is relationship. It defines the relationship between the company and the outside world. So memorandum of association indicates the relationship between the two parties, that is, one is company and another one is outside world. Whereas come to the article of association, it defines the relationship between company and members among themselves. So it is within the company, but memorandum of association is within the company and with the outside of the company. But the article of association is only within the company. It maintains the relationship with the company and the members among themselves, means members of the company. So it maintains relationship between these two. So next one is alternation. So alternation means the chances of changing. Okay, it can't be changed easily. Memorandum of association can't be changed easily. If we want to change the memorandum of association, again it has so much legal formalities. So article of association can be altered easily, means it can be changed easily, but the memorandum of association can't be changed easily, but article of association can be changed easily. Next, provision. It is a subordinate only to the act. So memorandum of association is a subordinate. Subordinate means it is follow the rules and regulations of the act. Which act? Companies Act. Okay, the company work with the legal provisions of memorandum of association. So the company will be run according to the legal provisions. Whatever the legal provisions are there in the memorandum of association, according to that the company will be run. It is subordinate to memorandum and the Companies Act. Okay, the article of association is subordinate to the memorandum of association, and it also subordinate to the Company Act 2013. Legal effect. Any act of the company beyond the scope of memorandum will be void. So if anything is done against or beyond the scope, over the scope, over the scope of the memorandum, it will become illegal in the eyes of the law, and also it is a void, means it is completely wrong according to the Companies Act. It will be completely wrong if anything done in the company that is not mentioned in the memorandum, then it will become very difficult for the company to face the legal things which arises due to doing these kind of things. Okay, next, anything is done beyond the scope of article is not be void. So if anything is done, okay, if anything is done beyond the scope of article, it is not a wrong thing, because it can be rectified by passing a special resolution, by giving a special reason why we have changed the internal structure of the company. By giving a special reason or special resolution, we can change the internal structure of the company. So the article of association can perform its function beyond the scope of beyond the scope. Okay, so if it perform beyond the scope, then it will not be wrong. But if the memorandum of association, if the company is performing beyond the scope of the memorandum of association, then it will be completely treated as a wrong. So this is the major differences between memorandum of association and article of association. Let us meet in the some other session with the new topic. Till then you have to do the hard work and you have to maintain a speed writing with a good handwriting. Okay, yeah. Good morning, ma. Welcome to Alpha Online Education. Commerce theory part for the first year English medium. The chapter that we are dealing with, that is the 7th chapter, commencement of the business. So this is the 4th session of the chapter. So in the first session we have discussed about the memorandum of association, MOA, and in the second session we have discussed about the article of association. Yes, so in this session we are going to discuss about the and in the third session we have seen the differences between the article of association and memorandum of association. And these in this session we are going to discuss about the prospectus. So prospectus means what? First let us know the meaning of prospectus. Okay, a public company can invite the people to purchase the shares. Okay, a public company can invite the people to purchase that company shares. Okay, to purchase that company shares and debentures. Okay, so the public company can invite general public, common public, in order to purchase that public company shares and debentures through an advertisement. They will call the public to purchase the shares of their company. Okay, such an advertisement or notice containing detailed information about the company. Okay, whether that is an advertisement, okay, or it is a notice, whatever it may be, that contain the detailed information about the company. It contains detailed information about the company, and that detailed information that is known as prospectus. It is known as prospectus. So a private company can't issue. So a private company can't able to issue the prospectus to secure its capital. So it can't able to issue prospectus in order to raise the capital from the general public. But the public company can invite the people to purchase or to subscribe the shares and debentures of that particular company through an advertisement or through a notice. Next, the definition. The definition of a prospectus. Any document describes, okay, it may be a document that described or issued, okay, issued a prospectus and includes a red herring prospectus. Red herring prospectus. Red herring prospectus means it is a type of a prospectus. That is the initial stage of the prospectus, means that is the preliminary stage, means the first stage of the prospectus. Okay, referred to in section 32. So red herring prospectus are in section 32. or shelf prospectors. Okay, shelf prospectors means they know certain information about the prospector. It is a type of issuing the prospectus. Okay, so refer to in section 31. It is in section 31. Or any notice, circular, advertisement or other document inviting offer from the public. Okay, it was inviting offer from the public. It is an invitation to the public for subscription of any securities. Subscription means in order to purchase any kind of securities, whether the shares or debentures. In the shares we have again two: equity shares, preference shares. Okay, whatever they want to purchase, they can purchase those securities. Okay, so this definition is given by Companies Act 2013, section 2, subsection 70. So this definition is given by Companies Act 2013, section 2, subsection 17. So this is about the definition. Simply we can say that prospectus means just a document or notice or circular, whatever it may be. It contains information about the particular company, that is known as prospectus. So let us see, prospectus must include what it must include. So one thing you have to remember, first years చూడండి, ఇక్కడ 17 ఉన్నాయి. మీరు 17 మాకు గుర్తుకుండవు మేడం, మేము రాయలేము 17 అంటే అట్లా నడవదమ్మా. 17కి 17 రాయాల్సిందే. ఓకే, యూ కాంట్ ఏబుల్ టు రిడ్యూస్ to 12 or 10. You can't reduce. If you reduce in that way, your marks will also be reduced, because this is completely 17. You have to write. This is a mandatory. At any cost you have to write it. Okay, so let us see first of all what the prospectus must includes. Okay, name and full address of the company. So it contains the name and full address, where the company is, in which country, in which state, okay, in which district, okay, in which mandal, where the company. So name and full address of the company, first thing. Next, the particulars of the signatures of the memorandum of association. Okay, the particulars of the signators. So who signed the memorandum of association, their particulars and the number of shares taken up by them. So who signed that memorandum of association, those members, how many shares, number of shares. Okay, how many number of shares each of them is taken, that is also clearly it should be defined in the prospectus. Name, address and occupation of the members. Okay, so name, address and occupation of members of board of directors, secretary, auditor, legal advisor, banker. So their name, address and occupation should have to be clearly defined about the members of board of members, secretary, auditor, legal advisor, banker, etc. So the particulars should have to be clearly described. The minimum subscription amount fixed by the promoters. So minimum subscription. So what will be the minimum value of the share? What will be the minimum value of the debenture? What is their minimum amount? That should be clearly mentioned. So that value is fixed by the promoters. Okay, yes, the value of that subscription is decided by the promoters. Promoters means who? In the previous sessions we have discussed about the promoters. Promoter means that person who has the idea to start the business, who was at the first stage of the business. Okay, so that he will describe the minimum subscription amount. The details of the property acquired, if any additional property they are maintaining, then details of that additional property should have to be mentioned in the prospectus. Okay, because why these all have to be we have to disclose means these all information is going to be seen by the public, and by seeing these they will going to purchase the shares of that company or debentures of that company. So that's why everything should have to be disclosed to the public. The details of the property, okay, the time of opening and closing of subscription list. So from what time the subscription, the securities will be open to purchase, and at what time it will be going to close, that should be clearly defined. Okay. Next, the capital structure of the company and particulars of issue. Capital structure, how much will be the capital, okay, how many crores will be the capital, and in that how much will be the fixed capital. Okay, fixed capital. Fixed capital means it is used to purchase plant and machinery, furniture, building, land, okay, equipments, tools. These are for these we required fixed capital. So there is another capital that is working capital. Okay, working capital. What is working capital, madam? Means for day to day activities, for giving salaries, for giving wages, for paying electricity bill, for paying any other expenses, for stationery, for postage. Okay, for those things we required working capital. Means day to day, every day we required certain amount to run the business, to run the company. So that capital is known as working capital. Fixed capital means purchase of machinery, purchase of building, purchase of furniture, purchase of equipments, purchase of tools. These all are called as a fixed capital. Okay, that particular should have to be due, okay, of the company, and particulars of issue. How many equity shares you are going to be issue, how many preference shares you are going to be issue, and how many debentures you are going to be issued. That should be completely disclosed here. The amount payable on application, allotment and calls. So what is the amount you are paying on applications? Okay, what you are paying on the applications, whatever the applications you are receiving, for that what you are paying, and for the allotment of the shares what you are paying, and for the calls. Calls means for receiving, not phone call. For receiving of shares, what amount you are receiving. So that should be clearly, you have to be the company should have to be clearly mentioned. Next, basis for the issue price. So basis on what the price of the shares are issued, or the price of the shares have been fixed, that should also have to be mentioned. The particulars of preferential treatment given to the person for subscribing shares or debentures. So preferential means some different type of treatment, some type of treatment. The treatment means not medical treatment. Treatment means there is certain variations between while we are issuing equity shares, and while we are issuing preference shares, and while we are issuing debentures, there will be certain variations. Okay, if you are issuing equity shares means there are the real owners, so they will take the dividend after giving to the preference shareholders. So preference shareholders will get the dividend, which is very fixed dividend. Okay, so in this way there will be certain type of preferential treatment is there. Different type of treatment is there for different type of shareholders, that we will going to be studying in the upcoming sessions. Okay, in detail we are going to study what is equity shareholder, what is preference shareholder, what is debenture. We are going to study in detail. Okay, don't worry about that. The address of the underwriters. Underwriters means who? Means, see, when we are issuing the shares into the market lo shares issue chestam. Chesinappudu, for example, మనము 100 షేర్స్ మార్కెట్లో ఇష్యూ చేస్తున్నాం అనుకోండి. సో ఇన్ దట్ 100 షేర్స్ మనము ఏం చేస్తామంటే ఆ షేర్స్ సేల్ అవుతాయో లేవో మనకు తెలియవు, పర్చేస్ అవుతాయో లేవో తెలియవు. సో we will approach to one broker. That broker is known as underwriter. So what this underwriter will do means, he will take the promise, he will give the promise that he will sell at least 70 or 50, whatever it may be, he wish. అతని ఇష్టం ఎంత అయినా అతను చెప్తాడు. సో ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ 70 షేర్స్ నేను అమ్మి పెడతాను మీ తరపున అని చెప్తాడు. అలా చెప్పి బ్రోకర్ ఏం చేస్తాడు, అండర్ రైటర్ అంటే బ్రోకర్, అతను ఏం చేస్తాడు, అమ్మడానికి ప్రయత్నిస్తాడు. ఒకవేళ అతను అమ్మడంలో ఫెయిల్ అయిపోయినాడు అనుకోండి, అలాంటప్పుడు అతనే కొనుక్కోవాలి ఆ 70 షేర్స్. ఓకే, దట్ ఈస్ ద రిస్క్ హియర్. సో అండర్ రైటర్ అంటే అతను ఒకవేళ అమ్మగలిగితే అమ్ముతాడు, అమ్మలేని పరిస్థితుల్లో అతనే కొనుక్కోవాల్సి వస్తుంది. Particulars about the reserves and surplus. Reserve means the amount. For example, the company got 10,000 rupees profit. In that, after giving after all the expenses, it getting a profit of 200 rupees. Sorry, 2,000 rupees. In that, they have to keep 1,000 rupees as reserves. అంటే ఒక side కి ఒక మూలకు పెట్టేస్తారు. For it is used for the expansion of the business or for the growth of the business. Okay, surplus means excess profit. Okay, so the amount of preliminary expenses means any other expenses. Okay, other expenses is called as preliminary expenses. The name and address of the auditor means who will check the accounts. Okay, his name and his address should have to be mentioned. Particulars regarding the voting rights at the meetings of the company. So which shareholder will have the voting right, okay, and about the meetings of the company, that also should have to be mentioned in the prospectus. Next, management perception of risk factor. So whatever the risk is there in the business, that should also be clearly they have to mention. Okay, what is the management expecting the risk from the business and how they are issued that risk by taking the insurance, that have to clearly mention. Disclosure of investors grievance and redressal system. Grievance means anything that have been done wrong. Redressal means giving compensation for that wrong. Okay, they have to mention that if anything done wrong with the investor, okay, if anything happened wrong to the investor, means the public who are ready to invest in the shares of the company, if anything wrong happened to them, any fraud happened to them in the company, at the time the company is ready to give compensation for the loss what the investor has suffered. So these information they have to be mentioned in the document. Along with this, they have to fulfill some legal requirements, which we are going to discuss in our next session. In the next session, we are going to discuss about the legal requirement, and also what are the types of the prospectors are there. We are going to discuss in detail about that in the 5th session. Okay, right. Good morning, ma. Welcome to Alpha Online Education. Commerce theory part for the first year's English medium. Chapter that we are dealing with is commencement of business, and this is the 5th session of our chapter. So in the previous session we have seen about the what are the information should have to be included in the document of prospectus we have discussed, and in this section we are going to discuss about the legal requirements of prospectus. Okay, so let us focus on it. Prospectus must be dated. So when the document you are issuing to the public, at the time it should have the specific date. Okay, so it should not be like that some another year prospectus you are issuing in this year. That should, the type of misrepresentations or malpractices should not be done. So they should be clearly dated. Okay, it must be signed by every person. Okay, it must be signed by every person who is named as a director, that each and every director should have to sign the prospectus. Okay, it must be issued within 90 days of its registration. So it should have to be issued after or within 90 days of its registration. Okay, so that it can gather money from the public by issuing such a prospectus. It can be issued either by newspaper advertisement or other social media or any other medias, magazines, or anyway here we can issue the information to the public to purchase the shares or debentures of the particular public company. It must not be issued unless a copy thereof has been filled with the registrar. So it should not be issued unless a copy, means one extra copy of prospectus that has been filled with the register on or before the date of its publication. Before the publication in newspaper or in advertisement, in whatever it should have to be filed with the registrar. Then after the same copy which has been registered with the, which have been filed with the registrar, that copy have to be published in the newspaper or in other media. Okay, a prospectus must be in writing, it should be in written, it should not be in oral. Okay, an oral invitation to the subscription of shares and debentures of the company. So it must be written, an oral invitation to subscribe for shares and debentures of the company. So if it is in written only, there can give an oral invitation. Okay, so there should be in written and the invitation should be in oral. So in a newspaper or by any type of announcements, okay, circulars, okay, by any way they can issue it. All relevant facts should be accurate. Whatever the information, relevant means real. Whatever the facts, accurate means real things. Okay, all relevant facts means all the information which has been given, that should be correct, stated, and irrelevant information, incorrect information should be omitted. Omitted means we have to leave that. Incorrect information should have to be leave, and the correct information, relevant means correct. So correct information should have to be stated in the prospectus. So if any misrepresentation or malpractices have been done, in that case there are two liabilities. One is civil liability. In case of civil liability, the persons responsible for mistakes and untrue statement, the person who is responsible for mistakes in the prospectus or giving a statement of untrue things, in that case that person, okay, that person is liable to pay compensation to the person. So paying compensation to the investor. Okay, so the person who is responsible for that mistake, they have to pay compensation to other person who has been suffered. Okay, next, civil liability. Here the person who is responsible for misrepresentation, misstatement, okay, malpractices, he is liable to pay fine which shall not be less than 50,000 and but which may extend it to 3 lakhs rupees. So if any wrong information is given in the prospectus to the investors, in that case, in the civil liability, in that case they should be they have to pay the compensation from 50,000 to 3 lakhs rupees. Between that they have to pay the compensation, or imprisonment up to 3 years, means they have to go to the jail also. Sometimes there will be both, giving compensation and have to be go to the jail. Sometimes there will be two type of punishments at a time to that person. So prospectus is a very important thing. While preparing it, the management should have to be very careful. It should not have to show any kind of negligence. Any kind of negligence will cause a huge loss to the company image, and also the company can't able to get the subscribed capital what it want to gather from the public. Okay, right, let us move on to the types of the prospector. I have just explained here only one prospector type, that is red herring prospectus. The remaining prospectors, what are the types are there, that is I am going to explain you in the next session, that is in the 6th session. Okay, so let us see what is red herring prospectus. Means this is the first stage. Okay, the definition, this is given according to the Companies Act 2013 section 32. According to that, these 4 things have been given. What is that? See, a company processing to make an offer of securities may issue a red herring prospectus prior to the issue of the prospectus. So the company which want to issue securities, okay, which want to offer securities by issuing of prospectus. So first prospectus is red herring prospectus prior to the issue of prospectus, means full prospector. Before issuing the full prospector, the first stage, the first primary prospector, that is red herring prospector. Okay, first there will issue a red herring prospectus that contain only very little information comparing to the detailed prospectus. Okay, a company processing to issue a red herring prospectus under subsection 1 shall file it with the registrar at least 3 days period to the opening of the subscription and the offer. So when you are going to give offer to the public, or when you are going to start the subscription of the capital, before that 3 days you have to file it. You have to file it with the registrar. See, the registrar will find the mistake. So that's why before that you have to file it with the registrar. For example, 21, 22, 23, 24. December 21st, December 22nd, December 23rd, December 24th. These are the 4 days. Now, if I want to issue the red herring prospectus on 24th December, at that time I have to submit these to the I have to file these prospectus with the register on December 20. Okay, on December 20 I have to file it with the register. So at least 3 days period, means before to the opening of the subscription. So 3 days before, 1, 2, 3. So 3 days before. So on the 4th day we are going to issue. So 3 days before we have to file it with the register. Next, a red herring prospectus shall carry the same obligation as are applicable to the prospectus, and any variation between the red herring prospectus or a prospectus shall be highlighted as a variation in the prospectus. Okay, so these prospectus, red herring prospectus is the first stage of prospectus issuing, the prospectus. If they find any kind of variation between the red herring prospectus and the original final prospectus, if there is any variation, at that time in the final prospectus it should be highlighted like this. Sometimes you have seen in the newspapers, while the news reporters are reading, they will use some sketch pen. Sorry, that sketch pen is just like in duster color. Okay, what that color I don't know exactly, but that will be some like this. There will be some different color. So what they will do means they will change. For example, this is the matter which is different, that has a variation. At the time they will do like this. Highlight that matter with a light color. This is dark color, but they will highlight the matter like this with the light sketches. Okay, so that indicates that there is certain variation or that is certain important thing. Okay, so that is highlighted if there is any variation between red herring prospectus and the final prospectus which has been going to be issued. The closing price of the securities of any other any other details are not included. So the closing price of the securities, okay, and any other related with the closing is not included in the red herring prospectus. Okay, shall be filed with the registrar and the SEBI. SEBI means Security Exchange and Board of India. Security and Exchange Board of India. So they should have to file these red herring prospectus with the registrar or Security and Exchange Board of India. So this is about the first prospectus, that is red herring prospectus. So red herring prospectus means it is the first stage of the prospectus. It is a first stage. So in that there will be no closing price of the security. There is the first initial stage of the prospectus. Okay. So if there is any variation, that will be highlighted in this way with the light sketches. They will highlight that. So it indicates that there is a variation between the red herring prospectus and that. Okay, so that is about that. And these red herring prospectus should have to be registered within the period 3 days period to the opening of the subscription. 3 days period means 3 days before. Okay, 3 days before. Here we are issuing. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So maybe on 21st or 20, whatever it may be, but at least 3 days before they have to be due. At least they have to be due 3 days before. So at least 3 days before they are saying. So from 21 or 20, whatever it may be, they can do. Okay, right? So in the remaining types of prospectus we will discuss in the next session, that is in the 6th session. Okay, right. Good morning ma, welcome to Alpha Online Education. Commerce theory part for the first year's English medium chapter that we are dealing with, that is the 7th chapter, commencement of the business, and this is the last session of this chapter, 6th session. So whatever the types we have remained in the section previous session, in the 5th session, that we will cover in this session. So the next is shelf prospectus. So Section 31 Companies Act 2013 defined that prospectus that have been issued by any public financial institution, company or bank for one or more issue of securities or classes of securities as mentioned in the prospectus. When a shelf prospectus is issued, then the issuer does not need to issue a separate prospectus for each offering. He can offer or sell securities without issuing any further prospectus. So according to it, if a public company or financial institution or bank, anything that is public, okay, that is that want to raise the capital, for that if it will be issue the shelf prospectus, at that time it can issue one or more issue of securities. It can issue more securities, one or more securities or classes of securities, means like equity shares, preference shares, debentures, like this type of different securities it can be issued as mentioned in the prospectus. As mentioned in the prospectus, how it is mentioned in the prospectus, according to that it can able to issue. Okay, when a self prospectus is issued, then the issuer does not need to issue a separate prospectus. If you are issuing a shelf prospectus, at that time there is no need to issue again another prospectus. Okay, prospectus is not needed again issuing. Okay, for each offering he can offer or sell the securities. So when he want to sell the securities, simply that it is the final. So whatever the things that have been we want to get from by issuing the securities, we can issue it, and after issuing the shelf prospectus, there is no need to issue again and again other prospectus. Okay. So arbitraged prospectus means, arbitrage means shorting the prospectus according to section 3 according to section 33 subsection 1. So what is he saying means, when any form for the purchase of security of the company is issued. Okay, if any form is issued in order to purchase the securities of one particular company, it must be accompanied by an arbitraged prospectus. Okay, when a form is issuing for the purchase of security, then the prospectus will be shortened. Okay, it will be reduced, it will be short. So it contains all the useful and materialistic information. It only contains whatever the information needed, what is important, only that information is contained in the arbitraged prospectus. The unnecessary information is not contained in it. It is shortened by removing all unnecessary information, so that the investor can take a rational decision, and it also reduces the cost of public issue of the public issue of capital, as it is a short form of prospectus. So by issuing these type of arbitraged prospectus, the decision maker, the investor, can take the decision quickly, and it reduces the cost of public issue. Okay, issue of the prospectus, because it is very short, so it can be easily understood by the investors. They can take the decision, unnecessary information is deducted. So that is why this is very good type of prospectus. Among the different types of prospectus, arbitraged prospectus is better. Short and sweet it is. Deemed prospectus. Okay, next one is deemed prospectus. So according to section 25 subsection 1, according to section 25 subsection 1, any document by which an offer for sale of any security in terms thereof then such document shall for all purposes be deemed to a prospectus. So for the sale of any securities, okay, for the sale of any securities in terms of then such document shall for all process. So if there is any offer for the sale of the security, at that time deemed prospectus will be issued. So it will be used for the sale of the securities. If there is any offer for the sale of the security, at that time these type of document will be issued. So this is about the types of the prospectus. So let us concentrate on the other topic, that is minimum subscription. So what is the minimum subscription? Means whatever the amount the public company has to be gathered from the public, that is the minimum subscription. If the public company fail to gather that amount from the public, at that time they have to give back that amount to the public. Let us see. The minimum amount of the capital to be collected out of the total issue. So minimum amount of the capital they have to be collected from the total issue. Whatever their total they are issuing, from that they have to get minimum amount, okay, by a public company before the allotment of shares. Before allotting the shares, the company should have to get the minimum amount of subscription, okay. Nowadays it will be 90% of issued capital. If the company fail to get the subscription amount, minimum amount, at that time it has to return back the amount what it has taken from the investors, okay. So generally this subscription amount is fixed on the basis of the amount required for the purchase of property, okay. With the issue of these securities only, the company can purchase the property. Amount needed for the payment of preliminary expenses, means any other expenses for the payment of those expenses. Amount required for working capital for day-to-day activities, yes. The amount required for any other expenditure for the formation of the company, okay. On the basis of this, the minimum subscription amount is decided, or it is fixed, and it is very important. So the minimum subscription amount at present, that is 90% of the issued capital that the company should have to get. If it failed to get that amount, it has to give back the investors whatever the amount it has collected, okay. That is about the minimum subscription. Next is certificate of commencement of business. Certificate of commencement of business means for private companies there is only one certificate is enough, that is certificate of incorporation. Already we have discussed this topic in the previous sessions, okay. For private companies only one thing is enough, that is certificate of incorporation. But for the public companies two types of certificates are required. One is certificate of incorporation and next one is certificate of commencement of business. These two certificates are required for the public company in order to start its business, okay. So it is very mandatory, yes. For that it has to issue the prospectus, it has to file, it has to get filed memorandum of association and article of association with the registrar and also the prospectus, and it has to raise the minimum subscription. Then only afterwards at the end it can get the certificate of commencement of business. After doing this all the things, the final stage is that it will get the certificate of commencement of business, and also it get the certificate of incorporation. With both two certificates only it can run its business. Let us focus on the last topic of this chapter, statement in lieu. So in case a public company raises its capital through some other means, there is no need to issue prospectus. For example, the public company is raising its capital by issuing some other document, other statement other than the prospectus, then there is no need to issue again the prospectus. If the company is issuing this statement in lieu of the prospectus, at the time there is no need to again issue, okay, lieu. So if it issuing the statement in lieu of prospectus, then there is no need to issue separate document of the prospectus, okay. So this statement is signed by the directors and drafted according to part 1 of schedule 3 of the act. So this document should have to be signed by all the directors, and also it is drafted, means it is prepared according to the part 1 of schedule 3 of the act. According to the act, that particular act, these statement in lieu is prepared. Okay, so this is about the types of prospectus. Minimum subscription, that will be 90%. They have to be raised. If they fail, they have to give back the amount what they have subscribed from the public. That is about the minimum subscription. And certificate of commencement of business means in order to continue the business by the public companies or public institutions, whatever it may be, they have to get two certificates: certificate of incorporation and certificate of commencement of business. And this is a statement in lieu. Okay, so this is about this chapter. So this is most important chapter. Please don't quit anything in this chapter. Okay, let us meet in some other session with some other topic. Yes.